It was a calm spring morning in 1986, off the coast of Yonaguni Island, Japan's westernmost point, where the Pacific Ocean meets the East China Sea. The water was crystal clear, the sunlight slicing through the waves like liquid glass. Gihachiro Aratake, a local diver known for exploring remote coral reefs, slipped beneath the surface on what he thought would be a routine dive. He had no idea he was about to uncover one of the greatest archaeological mysteries of the modern age. At about 25 meters deep, his flashlight swept across something strange, sharp. Geometric edges jutting from the seafloor, steps, perfectly aligned terraces, flat surfaces that looked too precise to be natural. He blinked through his mask, heart racing. This wasn't coral. It wasn't rock shaped by random tides. It looked like architecture. Aratake hovered in silence, staring at what seemed to be a massive stone monument. A sprawling complex stretching over 150 meters long and 40 meters high. The structure appeared to rise like a pyramid from the depths, its lines clean, deliberate, and ancient. It was as if an entire city had been swallowed by the sea. When he resurfaced, Aratake rushed to tell others. At first, nobody believed him. Impossible, they said. There's nothing like that out there. But curiosity spread fast. Within months, scientists, geologists, and TV crews arrived, eager to see this so-called Japanese Atlantis. What they found would divide experts and ignite a debate that still rages nearly 40 years later. Underwater cameras captured wide, haunting shots of the Yonaguni Monument, staircases leading to nowhere, terraces stacked like ziggurats, and stone platforms eerily resembling roads and plazas. Some divers even claimed to see carvings, faces, animals, symbols, half erased by time. Was this the work of an ancient civilization or a natural geological wonder sculpted by the sea? For every scientist who dismissed it as coincidence, another whispered that it couldn't be explained so easily. The symmetry was too perfect, the angles too consistent. If humans had built it, the city could date back more than 10,000 years, older than the pyramids of Egypt, older even than Stonehenge. If that were true, it would rewrite everything we know about human civilization, and yet the ocean guards its secrets well. The currents shift, the sand drifts, and the monument remains silent, a ghostly sentinel in the deep. Divers say that when you swim there, you feel a strange stillness, as if the stones themselves remember something we've forgotten. As you listen to this story, imagine being there, floating above ancient steps carved long before recorded history. What hands shaped them? What catastrophe buried them beneath the waves? We're only beginning to uncover the truth. If mysteries like this fascinate you, the hidden stories buried in our planet's forgotten corners, make sure you subscribe to Best Hidden America, because sometimes the greatest secrets aren't in history books. They're still waiting to be found just beneath the surface. When images of the Yonaguni Monument first reached the surface, they ignited an intellectual firestorm. The footage looked impossible. Colossal terraces stacked like steps of a lost temple, corridors cutting through solid rock, and platforms that appeared deliberately leveled. For many, it looked less like a natural formation and more like a forgotten city frozen beneath the sea. Soon, one man became obsessed with finding the truth. Professor Masaki Kimura, a respected marine geologist from the University of the Ryukyus. Kimura dove at Yonaguni more than 100 times. The deeper he explored, the less it looked like chaos, and the more it looked like design. He found what appeared to be a grand staircase descending from the main structure, flanked by terraces resembling plazas. There was even a towering block Kimura dubbed the stage, with what looked like carvings of animals and geometric symbols etched faintly into the stone. It's impossible this was shaped by nature, he told the press. This was built, or at least modified, by human hands. But skeptics were quick to respond. Geologists from around the world countered that Yonaguni sat on a type of sandstone that naturally fractures into sharp geometric shapes when stressed by tectonic movement. To them, these steps were nothing more than an illusion, the result of natural erosion, earthquakes, and centuries of ocean currents carving the rock like a sculptor who never sleeps. They said it wasn't a city, just a coincidence. Still, some divers weren't convinced. They pointed out right angles, perfect right angles, everywhere. One structure looked like an entranceway, complete with pillars. Another resembled a stone road, stretching eerily straight into the deep. And then there were the tools. Small carved stones found nearby, their purpose unknown. If these were natural, why did they look so deliberate? If they were man-made, who could have built them? Because if Yonaguni really was an ancient city, it would predate every known Japanese civilization, perhaps even the Jomon culture, by thousands of years. That would mean organized societies, advanced engineering and architecture existed in Japan long before historians ever imagined possible. It would mean that our timeline of civilization was wrong. Professor Kimura took his findings public, even mapping what he believed to be roads, staircases, and temples. His claim was bold. Yonaguni was a lost city, destroyed by an earthquake and swallowed by the ocean around 10,000 years ago, roughly when the last ice age ended. A civilization wiped away, its memory buried in saltwater silence. The scientific community laughed. Atlantis fever, they said. But Kimura didn't care, because every time he dove into those waters, he said it felt like the stones called to him, as if they were waiting for someone to finally remember. Today, the debate rages on. Is Yonaguni a natural wonder sculpted by chance, or the ruins of an ancient culture erased by time? No one can agree, but what's undeniable is this: the site is mesmerizing. A labyrinth of shadows, geometry, and unanswered questions. And maybe, just maybe, the truth lies somewhere between man and nature. Because sometimes the ocean doesn't erase history. It hides it patiently, waiting for us to return. If you're captivated by mysteries that blur the line between legend and reality, remember to subscribe to Best Hidden America. This is just the beginning. The deeper we dive, the closer we get to the truth. The mystery of Yonaguni doesn't stop with the stones. It deepens, like the sea itself, into a whirlpool of myth, science, and speculation. For those who believe the site is man-made, Yonaguni isn't just a ruin. It's a revelation, a missing chapter of human history written in rock and coral. Professor Kimura's theory is simple, yet staggering. Long before Egypt built its pyramids, long before Mesopotamia rose from the desert, an ancient civilization thrived in what is now Japan. A people advanced enough to shape the earth, and doomed enough to be erased by it. He points to the timing. Around 10,000 years ago, when melting glaciers caused sea levels to rise by more than 100 meters. Entire coastlines vanished beneath the waves. Could Yonaguni have been one of them? Could its people have watched helplessly as the ocean swallowed their temples, their roads, their memories? Some say yes, others go further. A few independent researchers suggest that Yonaguni might have been part of the lost continent of Mu, a mythical landmass said to stretch across the Pacific, home to an advanced civilization that perished in a single cataclysm. It's a theory long dismissed by mainstream science, yet when you gaze at those perfectly chiseled terraces beneath the waves, you can't help but wonder, what if the myths were echoes of something real? Then there's the Atlantean connection. Writers and divers have drawn eerie parallels between Yonaguni and Plato's description of Atlantis, a city of concentric rings, destroyed in a single day and night of misfortune. Both tales speak of beauty, technology, and tragedy, of civilizations too proud or too unlucky to survive the wrath of nature. But perhaps the most haunting theory is also the simplest. Yonaguni wasn't a lost empire or a forgotten nation. It was a sacred place, a temple complex built by prehistoric islanders who worshipped the sea that would one day reclaim them. Some believe the monument aligns with celestial points, that the shadows of its terraces mirror the constellations above. Could this have been a place where the ancients met the gods, where stone met spirit and sea met sky? Skeptics dismiss all of this as fantasy, They say erosion and imagination have conspired to create the perfect illusion. Yet even the skeptics can't explain everything, like the uncanny symmetry of the main terrace, or the strange tool-like markings that appear too deliberate to ignore. Nature can carve beauty, yes, but can it carve intention? Every dive into Yonaguni blurs the boundary between science and story. Divers describe a strange feeling as they descend, not fear but reverence. The silence, the shadows, the sense of something vast and ancient lingering just out of reach. It's as if the ocean itself is guarding a secret, a story too fragile to surface. Whether Yonaguni is a monument to human ingenuity or a masterpiece of natural design, one thing is certain: it forces us to question what we know about history and what we've chosen to forget, because maybe the greatest mystery isn't what lies beneath the sea. Maybe it's what still lies within us, that unyielding need to explore, to discover, to remember. If you believe history still has hidden corners, untouched, unexplained, and waiting to be found, join us. Subscribe to Best Hidden America, where the past isn't dead. It's just waiting for the right eyes to see it again. The morning sun burns over the Pacific, turning the surface of the sea into liquid gold. A small research boat rocks gently above the silent depths of Yonaguni. On board, a handful of divers prepare for a descent that could rewrite history. Among them, Professor Masaki Kimura, now older, but still driven by the same fire that started it all. He gazes into the horizon, wets his mask, and murmurs something almost like a prayer. Let's see what truth lies below. The divers roll backward into the water and disappear into the blue. As the ocean closes above them, the noise of the world fades away. All that remains is the hum of the regulators and the heartbeat of discovery. The deeper they go, the clearer it becomes. This isn't just a rock formation. It's a city sleeping beneath the waves. Terraces appear out of the gloom, perfectly squared and aligned. Massive steps lead upward like a submerged ziggurat. Light filters through the water in shafts, illuminating corridors that seem carved by human hands. One diver shines his flashlight across a wall, revealing sharp 90-degree corners, door-like openings, and even strange symbols etched faintly into the stone. At that moment, the ocean seems to breathe. It's as if the sea itself wants to be heard, whispering fragments of a civilization long lost. Then they reach the main terrace, a sprawling platform that stretches over 150 meters. It feels less like an accident of erosion and more like architecture, intentional, deliberate, ancient. Professor Kimura signals for the team to hold position. He turns on a camera and speaks through his regulator. This is where history ends and mystery begins. For a moment, everything stops. The divers hover weightless, surrounded by centuries of silence. Only the currents move, brushing softly over the monument like time itself, running its fingers across forgotten stone. Kimura rises slightly, his light catching something at the far end of the terrace, a narrow passageway leading downward, deeper into darkness. They follow it cautiously, their beams cutting through the shadows. The walls close in, almost claustrophobic, and then suddenly the space opens up again, a chamber, circular, perfectly smooth. In the center, a raised block of stone, almost like an altar. No one speaks. They can't, even through their masks. You can see it in their eyes. Awe, disbelief, reverence. Could this have been a sanctuary? A throne room? Or the last refuge of a people watching their world disappear beneath the rising sea? The divers circle the chamber, documenting every inch, every mark, every possibility. It's not proof, not yet, but it's enough to ignite wonder in anyone who dares to question what they think they know about the past. As they ascend, bubbles trail upward like ghosts returning to the surface. Above, the sun pierces through the water, a reminder that the world above has moved on. While below, time stands still. When the team breaks the surface, Kimura looks back at the waves, silent, endless, unknowable. He whispers, "We have explored the stars." But maybe the greatest mystery was always beneath our feet. The camera pans wide, the vast ocean stretching to infinity. Beneath it, the shadow of Yonaguni sleeps, untouched, defiant, eternal. Maybe one day technology will tell us the truth. Maybe it never will. But until then, Yonaguni remains what it has always been. A question carved in stone, answered only by the sea. If you believe history's greatest secrets are still hidden beneath the waves, join us. Subscribe to Best Hidden America and discover the stories time tried to erase. Because sometimes the past doesn't disappear, it just sinks waiting to be found.